No chemicals or preservatives, just 100% honest to goodness hickory smoked meat.
Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Boy, some chicken wings have really hit the spot.
You ain't got no better food, like some chicken wings, some baby back ribs, some fries or something?
That's just two guys talking, am I right? We're just talking.
Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to the pit for another wonderful episode of
Fat Guys with
Smokers. That
was pretty bad.
We won't do that again.
Yeah, that felt weird as soon as we did it.
It felt a lot like the essence. We were just looking at a picture of our old podcast.
Yeah.
John and Mike present.
On the whiteboard. We were so young. So raw.
We're rewatching Big Bang Theory, and
I need to do that again.
Sheldon's been doing fun with flags, and I've been laughing.
Oh my gosh. I'm just realizing that I wore this jacket for our last two podcasts. So I just want the record to show that I do own more clothing. But
If it makes you feel better, I didn't notice.
thanks, John. I appreciate that.
I don't know if you should feel good about that or not. But
Who knows? I just wanted to call attention to it so that I don't get grief from my wife, basically. She's the only one that would probably notice. So.
she would have to watch.
Yeah, that's true. She listens. I don't know if she's ever watched.
I don't know. I think that's more than Haley does.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
they interest kind of peaked a while
They're
ago.
busy. They've got jobs.
Yeah, freaking jobs. Don't let your women go to work, guys. Then they can't devote all of their time to you. JK.
I was going to say, the views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect.
Wah, wah.
I was going to say, the next thing you're going to do is bring up politics, and then we're really going to have a show.
Trump train. No. What's been going on, John? This is kind of a different. So this is the new year. We're doing different stuff. We didn't podcast last week. We did a video, and so we haven't really caught up or chewed the fat for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, and honestly, it's been boring. I've been working. Nothing exciting.
I feel like January's always like that.
And I've vicariously been living through you. So why don't we talk about you, Mike? Because you have awesomeness.
I had a great weekend. I have a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. I got a depredation tag for a cow elk. So I had one of these once when Whitney and I were first married, like 10 years ago. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't see any cow elk. I saw a lot of huge bull elk in the same area. Never saw a cow elk, at least when I had the tag. But anyway, was able to go and get me a cow elk. They're pretty good size, John.
Elk are all big animals.
Yeah. We cut it up last night in my garage, did a little butchering, me and my brother-in-law. And we've done deer before, and we're done in a couple hours and come home with a little box of meat, you know.
Yeah.
Elk's significantly bigger. Took a while, and I had to get creative with my freezer. So, but it's exciting. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did elk hunting the way I dream about elk hunting.
It was.
Because I've got lots of friends that elk hunt, and it's, a day hike in, and then, 3 or 4 trips out with 200 pounds on their back
dude.
each time. And
That's how, and my brother-in-law's way into it, and I think that's how he likes it. I think he felt a little bit cheated because we were on the farmer's land, like, shot, killed.
get the tractor
He was
out.
excited. He brought the tractor over, hung it up for us while we skinned it. Like, it was, I felt like I was in an outfitter that people pay tons of money to just take care of everything for you, you know.
Did
But
you
it was awesome.
Did you try the tennis ball trick to skin it?
No, I wanted to, but it was kind of too late at that point. But I saw that on Meat Eater, and I really want to try it.
I don't know.
Have you done it before?
No, I haven't.
It looks foolproof, but
I guess I saw it done once.
oh, in real life, did it work pretty good?
Yeah,
Man,
yeah, I did it on a deer. It was a whitetail though. I don't know.
I think that's where I saw it on Meat Eater. It was a whitetail. I don't know if it makes a difference, but
Yeah, no.
tell us what the tennis ball trick is, John. I'm just realizing that people might not know what we're talking about.
So you and I'm trying to remember exactly how you do it. But you hang the deer from its back legs, and you start to skin the legs.
Yeah, you kind of cut
You cut around the
around
legs.
them.
Anyways, you get enough of the hide off so that you can take a tennis ball and you put the tennis ball under the hide, tie a rope around it so that it's got a tennis ball essentially. Like if my hand was the hide and this other hand was the rope, so that you've got this big block to pull on.
Yeah.
And then they hooked it up to a 4-wheeler and
See, I've never seen it done in real life. I've watched Steve Ranella do it on Meat Eater, and I was like, that looks awesome.
yeah, you essentially just peel it off with force and
It just comes off nice and
comes off in one big hunk.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll be honest, like the skinning and the butchering process, I know some people get queasy and it's gross. I'm fascinated by it. Like it is crazy the way that everything just works. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I
Well,
love to do it and watch it.
If you're queasy, you may want to skip the next 5 minutes of this.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about it for a minute. So I think the part that, if you're going to get queasy, the one that makes you queasy is when you gut it.
Yeah.
So the way I've always done it is you kind of start on the inside of a leg, slice up. I guess this was a cow, so you didn't have to slice around anything down low.
Sure didn't.
But you slice up the belly, and then the way I've done it is you essentially reach up into the chest cavity, you cut the esophagus, and then you grab it and
Grab her all out.
pull it out.
We
and
did
the whole
the
thing comes out.
Gutless method.
What is the
Have you ever
gut?
heard of this?
No. What is the
It's
gutless?
pretty. So I think the guy's name's Randy Newberg. Is a big hunter that my brother-in-law's. He loves him, and
Yeah.
I mean it's way cool. But so you peel the skin off. Obviously, you got to skin it,
Okay.
and then you cut the back straps out from the back.
Okay.
So you go in it. Then you can quarter it without gutting it.
Oh.
You just quarter it off, get all the quarters off. The problem we ran into is the tenderloins.
Yeah.
Because on a deer, I guess, according to my brother-in-law, you can kind of like go in, once you've got the back straps off, you can kind of go in, because the tenderloins are on the other side of the rib cage. So you can go in and kind of like cut around and be really careful and kind of pull them through. That wasn't happening. These tenderloins are pretty good size.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to gut it after all of that anyway, just to get the tenderloins out. But I've seen him do a deer like that, and it's pretty fascinating. And then he's done in a little amount of time, and the guts just stay in, and he leaves that in the field. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I've never done that. I've always just pulled it all out
Yeah,
and left
well-
it there in a pile, and it's amazing to me how fast that disappears.
dude, that's what's crazy. Like I went out to where I shot it the other day, and it just drove past, and the huge pile of stuff was picked apart pretty like substantially. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've had it where where we've shot a deer, pulled the guts out, hung half the meat, like 30 minutes, walk back to the truck, 30 minutes back, and in that hour time, the gut pile's gone.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. So I think when I shot mine, it was so cold and frozen. I think like coyotes and stuff can't smell it yet. It's just been birds that have seen it from the sky. But
Yeah.
it's crazy how fast everything just disappears. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Super cool.
it was a lot of fun. It was a good shot. I was not in the mood to go chasing an elk. I mean, I shot it like 5 minutes to go with shooting light. I was just waiting for a good shot, and she dropped, and it was really good. So, shout out to Paul, my brother-in-law. He is the only reason I do anything outdoorsy, because he knows it all, and he's got the heart of a teacher. So, but it was really
awesome,
fun.
man.
It was a good time. We need to go sometime.
If you're a friend of a friend of a friend.
I'll see what I can do.
Well, last week we did our first video.
Yeah.
Ended up being a little longer than we wanted, so it was about 20 minutes. In the future, we're going to try and keep these to about 10 minutes in length. But we talked about all sorts of stuff that we use in the kitchen on a regular basis. And we talked about knives, cutting boards, cafeteria trays. Did you secure a cafeteria tray?
I did not. I have not yet, but I will. That is on my to-do list.
Yeah. A cafeteria tray is just a great thing to carry meat back and forth. We talked
Off
about
the grill, it's genius because it's so hot, but it's drippy. A tray seems perfect. So
yeah, and if you get the small ones, they go right in the dishwasher.
yeah, easy to clean. Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm on board.
what else? We talked about thermometers for quite a while.
Knives. Did you already say knives?
Yeah, we talked about knives.
Talked about cutting boards.
We showed off the food saver. I feel like we talk about the food saver
Yeah,
all the time, but we had that out. And
it's pretty sweet.
yeah. So if you haven't, be sure to go watch that video again.
Yeah, it was fun. I think we learned a lot and had a good time. A lot of people said that they enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so.
you've got a bunch of the comments
Yeah,
pulled up.
I do.
I know at least one, we had one casualty of a frustrated wife because he wanted to go out and buy everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eric. Not sorry,
Sorry,
Karen.
not sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Karen. Eric, you know better.
Yeah, so Eric said, my wife didn't love me watching this. Now I want to buy stuff. Which, dude, go for it.
You're retired.
And
you don't have
also,
anything else going on.
I want to point out that me and John, I feel like, and I don't mean to speak for you, but I feel like we're on the frugal side of gadgets.
We
and
talked
stuff.
about, all of my knives, with the exception of the one knife that I was gifted, are less than $20 a piece.
Yeah. Yep. Ditto. I don't think we have anything that's like crazy. The meter, I guess, the meter block, but nothing else is, I think, out of control expensive. Everything is relatively, I feel like at least kind of a pedestrian expense. So.
I think that's really it. Yeah, we had, was it Sasquatch?
Yeah.
Barbecue?
Squatch Pit Barbecue.
Squatch Pit. Squatch, get the bear paws.
100%.
Yeah.
He says, are the bear claws really worth it? And I think, John, you were saying they're cheap.
They're $10.
Yeah. We're not spending $100 on these.
You don't need to buy the $25 brand name ones. Search meat bear paws and 20 varieties will come up on Amazon. They come in different colors. Like, find some for $8, $9, $10 and you'll use them.
It's all exactly the same. And I just want to point out, not just for shredding, which I think is kind of how they're marketed. So nice to move meat, like you had said, John. Just, I mean, picking stuff up. It's hot. You just pick it up. It's a lot easier than trying to slide a big spatula or something.
Especially, I mean, brisket can fall apart when it's on the done side. But, like, if you're doing a rib roast, like, I did a full rib roast that was like 7-8 bones. You're not picking that up with... Even my pizza peel would have like some major bend to it.
Yeah.
But you grab those bear paws and it's just wherever you want to go with it. You don't have any issue at all.
I love that idea. I keep forgetting about that, and I'm always cussing myself because I get juice on my gloves or something. Burns me.
Yeah.
Love that. So yeah, get the bear paws, Squatch Pit. Good to have you listening too. Squatch Pit's from Michigan, John.
He had a bad day last night.
Yeah.
Along with everybody that doesn't live in Ohio.
I was going to say everybody, yeah. Yeah, that was a rough one.
I hate Ohio State.
Yeah. Like I said, I was cutting up an elk, but I was getting minute by minute updates from my 12-year-old
It-
who's obsessed, and
It was a much
Kind of a
closer
bummer.
game than the scoreboard showed.
that's what I'm seeing. Like a lot of the stats and stuff look a lot better,
Yeah.
but
The first drive of the game, I think Notre Dame ran like almost 10 minutes. It was like a 9.5 minute drive. And the quarterback carried it 8 times. He scored a touchdown, immediately went to the sidelines and started to puke.
oh really? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, he left it all on the field. It was a really good game to watch from that aspect.
Well, and I saw a thing that said, even though I'm not an Ohio State fan, but they said this is probably the first national championship where maybe I need to rephrase it, but this is probably the more difficult national championship because it's their first year with the 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
Everybody's had to go through the top whatever teams, and anyway, so whatever. Kudos to Ohio, but Squatch Pit, it's good to have you, man.
Go
I'm
Big Blue.
excited to reconnect.
Go Big Blue.
We also had a couple comments. Clint Moore.
Clint.
You're the freaking man. Clint had some stuff. We talked about, I brought my cutting board. It kind of started to fade a little bit. He said it's probably just a setting on the laser cutter, but it's kind of hard to do. He said some oil should help quite a bit. But he did say, John, you ought to get one, and he knows a guy,
I know.
a friend of a friend of a friend, who could take care of that for you.
We'll be talking, Clint. We'll be talking.
And no disrespect to the guy that helped me, but I would love to see it done by somebody who knows what they're doing, because I think it would be really cool.
I know. I've got a brother-in-law that has a cabinet shop
Oh,
that I need to talk to him and see if he I don't know if he ever ends up with end cuts.
yeah.
That'd be a really cool cutting board to build as an
That'd
end
be way
cut.
cool. Yeah. Or even just get some scraps and put it together like
Yeah.
people do. That'd be way cool.
Yeah, if only pallet board wasn't
I know.
incredibly disgusting.
Because it's so easy to get. Oh, freaking pallets. And then Larry talked about the pulse thermometer. He says it's like the meter probe. I don't know that I've heard about the pulse thermometer. Have you?
I think Larry commented on another post that I saw it on. And there, when Meter first came out, it was like really the only Wi-Fi connected, like cloud enabled, leave-in long range thermometer. There were a bunch of RF ones, but there weren't very many like the Meter. And then ThermPro came out with one. That's the ThermSpike, I think.
That sounds right.
That I tried that. It's great, but it lacks the cloud interface, which is kind of a drag. But now there are a ton of options out there. I think Meter's still the Cadillac and the big name, but there are a lot of options out there But I still want the RFX or whatever
Yeah. What is that from? Is that from Thermopro or ThermoWorks?
ThermoWorks, yeah.
Yeah. RFX, right?
RFX,
Something like
I
that.
think.
Yeah.
The
I've seen that on a lot of people. Like when we were doing that wish list thing around Christmas, a lot of people had that on there.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be cool to see because the Meter struggles going through the grill. Like it does fine on my Traeger, but if I put it in my drum and put the lid on it, like I really struggle to get a signal.
That's my biggest beef with it is I have to have the block sitting right next to my grill, which if it's raining or snowing is not what I want.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the RFX, man, they like show it on an offset that's 1/4-inch steel and close the door and walk away from it. And they're like, yep, just fine. We've got great signal strength. So I'm I would be curious to look at it.
And you know what? The good thing about having multiple things on the market is the prices have to stay relatively competitive. Because
Yeah, there's some good
this
competition.
RFX looks like it's relatively similar in price to the meter, which is relatively similar in price to that pulse thermometer that Larry was talking about. So, at least for a single probe, it looks like you can get a double probe and quadruple probe. Have you ever used all 4 of your probes and found that it was important to do so? Because I've used it just because I could, but I don't know that it was necessary.
I've done it when I'm like that night that I cooked.
Yeah.
I think I had 6 pork shoulders.
Uh-huh.
I ran all 4 probes.
Was it helpful?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had all the way from like a 6-pound up to a 10-pound pork
Okay.
shoulder.
So they all cooked a
So
little
they cooked a
differently.
little different.
Okay.
But I haven't. Like some people talk about, well, I'm going to put it on both sides of this rib roast. Like, okay, what are you going to do? Cut it in half halfway through your cook and pull it
Right,
out? Like
right.
that's not a like. It's a great data point, and I guess it helps make sure that you get all of it up to the right temperature. But I do that with an instant read anyways because, especially when I'm doing barbecue and not just like a rib roast. I'm checking for tenderness as
Right.
much as I am temperature.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I find that and I think I said this last week on the video, but I find that I use my instant read more than anything else. I like having the meter. It's kind of a luxury, but I end up using the instant read even if the meter's in there just to be like, oh, yeah, you know. So, anywho.
Yeah. So, what are we doing next week?
Well, we've got a plan. I think we're going pork tenderloin, right, John? It is. It's January. It's cold as something that's really cold. That's appropriate to say, and I think that
It's cold enough that they went out for recess, but my wife was not happy
She
she
was
had
not
recess
on board.
duty.
it is. Yeah, it's cold enough that Moses sleeping inside. So, I think we're gonna do kind of a cold winter cook and kind of show how we do things with our welding blanket.
Yep.
And how slick that is. I think we're gonna just go pork tenderloin. Is that what we decided?
Yeah. Mostly for the magic of the magic of YouTube.
Yeah.
We're really going to try and keep those videos down to about 10 minutes. So
It'll also be informative and awesome.
We'll
and
prep
beautiful.
it, cook it, show the result, slice it up, eat it, all in 10 minutes.
I think 6 of those 10 minutes is just gonna be me and you chewing close to the
No,
camera,
man.
just slow motion, maybe while that
No, it's
sexy
It's
saxophone
gonna be
plays.
tender as a mother's love, and it's gonna melt in your mouth.
Yeah, that's true.
Minimal chewing required.
I still think we need to slow it down and do the sexy sax, man. That should be like the trademark of our videos. Like, us putting
little Kenny G.
yeah, that'd be sweet. Anyway,
I support it.
So-
I get on board with that.
hey, let us know when we're doing these videos. Don't be shy. Give us some comments. It's a lot. It's fun to hear from you guys and see that you're enjoying what we're doing. Even if you don't enjoy what we're doing, please let us know. I mean, this is all about kind of building a community and engagement and stuff. And so,
Yeah.
if you're not saying anything, me and John just talk to each other and think we're doing a great job. So,
Which is fine because that's what we're going to believe no matter what.
and
But,
that's what we need.
yeah. So between now and then, if you've got questions you want us to cover, drop them here. And then check out the video and we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about that.
Or if you have ideas for videos, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're like, hey, maybe try this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we have a little bit of elk meat that we might try to experiment on.
Yeah, and we definitely have one coming. I need to play with the recipe, but Doug texted me this weekend with an air fryer pork belly recipe.
I'm excited about that.
I'm
Is it
really
okay to
excited.
do barbecue in the air fryer? Is everybody still
when
on board?
it's that cold outside,
When it's cold enough that like you walk out, breathe through your nose, and all your hair and your nostrils freeze, it's all right to use the air fryer. I'm on board.
Yeah. Yeah, if it gets through my fat guy coat, my hoodie, and my jacket on top of that, yeah.
Yeah.
We can air
It's
fry
acceptable.
and yeah.
Sweet.
So
Well, that'll be fun. But yeah, keep engaged. Comment on YouTube if you're listening to us. Let us know. So it'll be good to hear from you. That's kind of the goal.
and we're looking forward to it. We loved all the comments, loved all the views this week, so thanks everybody. And until next time, I'm John.
And I'm Mike.
And we're Fat Guys with Smokers. Thanks for listening to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't forget to tune in for even more nonsense from a couple of Fat Guys with Smokers.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.